Good day and hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, and for today's video we will learn about the concept of method overloading and overriding, the differences between the two and the importance of these two to OOP. Now let's start with method overloading. So when we say method overloading, it is the feature that allows a class to have more than one method with the same name but with different parameters. So what does it mean? So let's see in our example here. So let's confirm if this example is an example of method overloading. Now back to the definition, when we say overloading, it is where the class allows to have more than one method with the same name but with different parameters. So as you can see, we have class here, class sum, and we have two methods right here. So our two methods is void add and void add. So obviously these two have the same name. But our first void add method only accepts two parameters, while our second method only accept three parameters. So therefore, this example is an example of method overloading. Now for this example, let's discuss the code one by one and how we came up with this output. So obviously, the program will read first our Java main method and followed the code under it. So it will read the object creation or instantiation of sum s equals new sum. So this object creation will trigger the class sum if being called. So next it will read the s.add with the two parameter values of 10 and 5. So it will call the sum s equals new sum and will trigger the class sum. So now it will only access to our first method, which is the void add int a and b. It is because our code here, this one, only have two parameters, and our first method accepts two parameters while the second method accepts three parameters. So therefore we will use the first method. So it will print answer 15. Why? Because this value here in the parameter will transfer to our method. So 10 will be transferred to int a and 5 will be transferred to int b. So our value of a is 10 and for b is 5. So therefore a plus 5 a plus b equals 15. So next, it will read s.add with the three parameter values of 4, 6, and 10. So obviously, we have three parameters. So I mean, the second method will be access. But before that, it will call sum s equals new sum and will trigger our class sum. So we will now access to our second method with three parameters. So it will print answer 20 because again we have three values in our parameter here, and it will transfer to our method one by one. So 4 will be transferred to A, 6 to B, and 10 to C. So A plus B plus C is equals to 20. And that ends our method overloading. Now let's proceed to overriding. So when we say method overriding in Java, it occurs when a subclass or child class has the same method as the parent class. So what does it mean? So we have example here. Now let's confirm this example if it is really an example of method overriding. So it says to our definition that our subclass has the same method as the parent class. So our example right here is an example of inheritance. It is because of extends. So when we say extends, the subclass will inherit the attributes under to our parent class. So if you can identify, our subclass here is our class poodle, and our parent class is the dog class. So therefore, they have the same method. It is because of extends keyword, and this example is an example of method overriding. Now let's discuss the code one by one and how we came up with this output. Once again, it will read our Java main method and will read the next code. So we have object creation instantiation of poodle named p equals new poodle. So this will trigger our class poodle if called. And next it will read p.talk. So it will call our object creation poodle p equals new poodle, and it will trigger our class poodle. So it will read and access our public void talk method, and under it will perform print. So it will print I am poodle. And next it will read p.eat. So it will call poodle p equals new poodle, and it will trigger our class poodle. So as you observe, the code under our class poodle has no eat method. But since we have keyword extends here, which is means to inherit, so our class poodle will inherit the attributes or method under our class dog. So therefore, it will trigger our class dog, and it will access to a public void eat method, and it will perform and print I eat kibble. Next, it will read p.drink, and once again it will call poodle p equals new poodle, and it will trigger the class poodle. And once again, as you observe, we don't have drink method right here. So and with the help of extends, we can access the drink method to our class dog. So it will access drink method, and it will print I drink water. So that ends our overloading, method overriding. And now let's proceed to the difference of the two. So when we say method overloading, it occurs within one class. And when we say method overriding, it occurs within two classes and involve inheritance. So let's go back to our example. So it says that method overloading occurs in one class. So in our class sum, so the method overloading right here occurs in the class sum. So when we say method overloading, once again, it is where the class allows multiple method have the same name but with different parameters. We have two parameters here and three parameters. And for method overriding, let's go back to the example. So it says that it occurs in two classes and involves inheritance. So it involves obviously two classes, the parent class and our subclass or the child class. And it involves inheritance. So this means extends. So with the keyword extends, that means inheritance or to inherit. So next we have method overloading. So when we say method overloading, name of the method is the same but different parameters are different. So at what I have said before, method have the same name but different parameters. And for method overriding, name of the method and parameters are the same. So method overriding, so uh, method name and parameters are the same. So it is because of inheritance. So our class poodle and class dog has the same method name and parameters. Next, method overloading is an example of compile time polymorphism, and method overriding is an example of runtime polymorphism. So what does it mean? So when we say compile time, it is where the method call is decided by the compiler, while the runtime is where the method call is decided by the JVM or Java Virtual Machine. So now let's proceed to the importance of method overloading and overriding. So the main advantage of this overriding and overloading is time saving and save memory space. So what does it mean? So as you observe in our examples, so instead of copying and pasting the method again and again to our class, so we can use overriding and also we can use overriding. So therefore it saves memory to our program and also it saves time. Next, the readability of the code is increased. So what does it mean? So as you observe in our example, both to overriding and overloading, the code is clean and organized. So we can read it easily. Next, when using the concept of function overloading, we can avoid using different function names by using different functions of the same function name for various operation. So what does it mean? So let's go back to example of our overloading. So instead of using void add 1 and void add 2, so we can use the same name but with different functions or different parameters. So this first method is only accepts two parameters and the second method accepts only three parameters. So therefore we can use the same therefore we can use different function of the same function name for various operations instead of using different function names. So for in the case of overriding, the child class can have functions of parent class and can even have its own implementation of that function. So instead of copying the method, so instead of copying this method to here, so we can use inheritance or method overriding. So therefore it saves time and save memory. It also increases the readability of the code and it is organized. And that ends our topic for today. I hope you learn. Thank you and goodbye.